can show. I can show you the world, shining, shimmering.
Actually, Steven sings pretty well. Um, so this is a really sad stream for me because um, I don't know what happened to my other characters. They just whatever. I don't know if the servers are up. It says they're up. I just wanted to try to. Today they shut down the company. Today, like everybody got laid off, which is anybody watching this video who works for Ashes of Creation, which I'm sure they probably won't. But if anybody who watches this who works for Ashes of Creation, I can only send out my heartfelt apologies and I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? Like support. I'm a software developer myself, so anybody who worked for Ashes of Creation for all those years to just be told, you're gone, man, you're fired. I'm not really fired, but the company's shutting down. I don't know, and like this is crazy. I'm in the game, and there's nobody here, which is I don't really know what to say. you know, I think it makes me super sad. Like I can't even tell you how sad it makes me. I mean, when I look at this game, I mean, it's a beautiful game. This world was absolutely massive. I mean, it was just massive, huge. Look how big this world is, and it had so much potential. This game had so much potential. And there aren't any MMOs out there right now that I've played where I felt that sense of wonder, of like just like, man, this world is so big, and there's area, there's those areas you go into where there's these like creatures that are dangerous, and you're scared. You're like, oh man, these guys are gonna kick my ass. You don't get that in most MMOs. You don't get that kind of sense of exploration and adventure, and just like, wow, this world's massive. And there's monsters here who could just absolutely annihilate me. And when you die, it's pretty brutal. You lose experience. You can drop items, which is great. It makes everything risky. There just aren't any MMOs out there that I can really think of that elicit that kind of feeling. Like when you're playing the game, you're like, oh man, you know what I mean? It's just, this was like the only one that really did that for me. And so I don't really know what to say. I'm just so like, I knew that this game had a long way to go to be in a state where it was, you know, ready for the prime time, such so to speak. But it had so much going for it. It really did. It had so much going for it, and also I really believe that Steven like really was, he seemed like a really good guy. Um, he seemed like a really good guy, who was trying really hard to make something that was something that people would really love, and also the team. Margaret, the other developers on the team at Trevor Studios, they all seem like good people. They all seem like really, really good people. Again, like as a software developer who's working, I'm 55 years old. I'll be 56 in just a couple weeks. So as someone who's been around a long time and who's played video games my whole life, I've always been a gamer, right? So someone who's been a gamer like me as long as I have and has been a lover of the MMO genre, and I think the MMO genre is the best game genre there is. I mean, hands down. I'll go to my grave playing MMOs in whatever state they may be, right? So um, it's just sad. Sad. Let me look at the. So I didn't know if the servers were still up or not. I wanted to take this last chance to try to jump in, you know, and one last time, I guess. I don't know when they're going to take these servers down, but the company's dead. Everybody was laid off. There's nobody working on this game anymore. I would imagine, I would hope that they have some sort of like already prepaid servers. You know what I mean? Like they've already paid up to through like the end of the month. And I actually would what would be really cool is if these servers would run to the end of the month. Because if they do, I'll actually spend a lot of time playing it. Because just knowing that I may never be able to play it again, I think. Let me see if we can. Do we know an Ashes versus Will down? Based on reports, Ashes Creation appears to be shutting down. Yeah, but what about the server? Reports that the game has been shut down with some such. But we don't know. We haven't gotten any news. And unfortunately, on the Discord, I haven't seen anything. There hasn't even been an announcement on the news channel. Like, the last update came out on the 30th, which is like, we are planning on restarting the realms, right? And then there was even, I mean, it was just crazy. This thing imploded quick. Like, it just blew up. And if you go to like the general section of the Discord, slow mode's enabled, and not only is it enabled, it's 6 hours. Members can send one message every. I thought, I thought this other like private vanilla WoW server that was coming out that had slow mode enabled when that thing was burning in flames. I think their slow mode was like 4 or 5 hours, and I had said at the time I've never seen a slow mode so long. Like, but this one's 6 hours, so it's at least as long as that one, if not longer. I privately messaged Steven, thanking him for his efforts. I'm sure he probably won't respond. But I did privately message him. And look at all these zeros. I don't know what these zeros, I don't know what these zeros mean. These accounts are gone. They've just left the server, I guess. Let me go in. There is a voice.
I'm going to call you Best.
Hey, does anybody...
I'll change my fucking name.
Hold
on. Let me change my name to what I'm normally called.
Hey, man, does anybody...
I was like, who the fuck is he talking
to?
Yeah,
my bad. It's just that's the only like non-regular word. But anyways, point being, if you can't concede that it's a disincentive, okay, Dusky. So we can at least agree that it is a disincentive, like it incentivizes them.
No, it's not.
Okay, then how? Explain the logic on how blowing up a
supply and demand.
Yes, but that I'm not.
You think
I'm not
they're sending people that matter across the border?
No, they're sending drugs that matter. You're talking about supply.
Yes, they're sending them on people that don't.
Okay, these guys are obviously not talking about Ashes Creation. So, I don't know when the servers are going to go offline. Let's put the post in here. Does anyone... I can't. I've got 4 hours. I can't even post. So, no, the company shut down, TK. I can't even post because I posted something earlier, and so I can't post for 5 hours. So, we're more likely to find... I don't know, man. But given the recent reports of Total Collapse, the servers are no longer operational. Well, that's not true. Because I'm literally in the game right now. So, I'm literally in the game. So we may... I won't be able to play tonight. Just because I got stuff going on in the real world. So I can't. I don't remember how to play my character. It's been so long. Okay, I kind of remember how to play, but it's been a while. So the servers are, but TK, the servers are going offline. I don't know when the servers are going to go down. The company has literally been shut down. The company is shut down. Everybody got laid off. Everybody was fired. Everybody was told to hit the road. You know what I mean? And you know, Kira TV has a video about it, and even though I don't really care for Kira TV, I think he's kind of I don't really care for that guy. I think he's kind of a bottom feeder who feeds off the drama and the ashes of other people's demises, you know. Plus, he creeps me out. He did one video where he had this S&M mask on, and it was just kind of creepy. Anyways, but having said that, even though I don't care for the guy that much, he typically does, I do believe, put out content he's validated his sources. I do believe that he doesn't just put out stuff that's a lie. You know, I think his information is usually pretty correct. And he basically had said that there was a board of directors for Ashes Creation, even though some people say there wasn't. Apparently there was. And there was movement against Steven's direction, what he wanted to do with Ashes Creation, and he didn't agree with what they were doing. I think it might have had, I don't know, I think more information might come out. You know, Steven has said, he had one post, but he did say something else, that there's some stuff going on legally, so he can't really say anything right now, but he will give more information out when the time comes. So I will expect that we might get more information from Steven Sharif about why these things happen the way they did. Because Steven's one of those guys that's pretty, he's pretty open about the way things are. He's not the kind of person who's trying to hide behind, you know, the internet or something. You know what I mean? I don't think he's the person who's not going to tell it like it is. I think he's always kind of been the person to let you know how things are going, which you have to respect him for that. So I do think he'll release some more information down the road. You know, will Ashes of Creation ever see the light of day? Probably not. And if it does, it'll be in some different bastardized form. I mean, there's so much work has been done to this game, and the game has so much potential. If they could get somebody to come in and pick it up and flesh out the systems, you know, the game could still be released. But I mean, I seriously doubt that'll ever happen. But I mean, there's so much work here. You know, there's so much game that's already here. People say there are a lot of issues with the game, but I mean, it wouldn't take a really experienced company, like a really experienced studio who knew what they were doing with MMO development, could probably swoop in here in like maybe a year and a half, you know, put out a really good product. I just don't know if that would ever happen, but the potential that is there for sure, and it would just be sad to see this game just disappear. I wish we knew who owned the rights to the code, because obviously private server would always be an option. In fact, I wish Steven would be. I don't know who owns the code. I don't think he does anymore, because I believe somebody bought out the company. I think the company's been bought out by somebody else. At least they were trying to buy it out, because the goal was to basically lay off. Originally, the goal was to lay off about 60 or 70% of the workforce, and then to buy out. Someone was gonna come in and buy out the company. I don't know if it was the board of directors or who. They were going to buy out the company, lay off about 70% of the workforce, and then they were going to take the game to some other, probably overseas company, somebody in Asia or something, to pick up the game and finish it out and try to do a cash grab. That's what I would call it, a cash grab. They would probably monetize the heck out of the game and some big, packages, and just see if they could make a lot of money, which, you probably could. Because the thing is, right now in the MMO genre, it's so dead. There's so few games that are out there, especially newer games, that if you did come in and grab something like this, and even if you monetized it as far as like cosmetics, for example, said, well, because there's so many mounts in this game. Let's say you took the mounts out of the game, which would piss off a lot of people. But if you take out like the animal husbandry, and instead of being able to tame animals, like all those mounts that were like in the cash shop, and you just straight up had to buy them out of the cash shop, would people buy the game? Would people buy the mounts? They probably would, because people are so desperate to play new MMOs. There's a big segment of player base out there, and I'm one of those people that loves MMOs more than any other genre, and I probably will go to my grave loving MMOs more than any other genre. So people are desperate for something new. So will this game ever see light of day? I kind of doubt it. But the server's up right now. It may not be up. It could go down any minute, and it may never come up again. So very sad. Very, very sad. What is my charge? I forgot what my charge is. 4, it looks like. Do I have like a throw? Yeah, I forgot. I got the chain throw. That's right. I remember how to play. I haven't played in a while. Honestly, I want to take my character. I would like to take my character down south to one of the major cities. I'm sure there's still people in this game. You know, I bet there's a lot of people there in this game that are going to play it until it shuts down. Because there's people who love this game, like absolutely have loved it and have loved it for a long time. So I just happen to be way up in the north where there's not a lot of players anyway. But anyway, I have to go to work pretty soon, so I just wanted to jump on, kind of express my sadness. I feel for all the people that lost their jobs. I feel really, really, really sad about those people, and I hope that they find, new jobs soon. And I hope they find jobs in the gaming industry because, I think it was, I don't know which video I was watching, but we know that there's more and more people in the gaming industry are losing their jobs, and there's fewer and fewer gaming jobs, which I don't really understand. Because in this day and age, I think we need games. We need video games because the world is such a stressful place to be in these days. It's not getting easier to live in this world. It's getting more difficult in my personal opinion. So games are a nice way to de-stress from the world. So I really feel like we need video games. Like thing for that people can jump into and take their mind off the real world, kind of get a mental reset. So it is. So I just and there's so many things about that makes me sad. The fact that people lose their jobs, the fact that there aren't as many good games coming out, and the reason we don't see MMOs coming out in the United States or in the East or in the West, I mean, is because they're just expensive to make. So expensive. Yeah, I do not think I can get down this way. I think we can jump in the water. But that was bad. That was not good. But I did the mount trick. You could do the mount trick where when you're falling, you just jump off your mount. Or you hit the ground. And it'll reduce the distance that you're falling. Dude, it's so sad. I'm just broken up. I'm really broken up about it. I really am. Ooh, that was close. I honestly, Zalson, I jumped into the server because I didn't know if it would even be up. I was like, they fired everyone. Like, everyone's laid off. Everyone lost their job. Everyone lost their job. Right? Not only did they lose their job, but I don't even think they got their severance package. I don't think they got their PTO payout. I think they lost everything. I don't think anyone's gonna get a refund, dude, which is bullshit. How much did you pay? I don't think anybody will get a refund. According to Kira TV, there was someone who did buy them out, or yeah, I think they did get bought out. $50. Still though, $50 is $50, man. I feel so bad. I feel bad for you. Feel for Kickstarter 100,000? Yeah, sure. I feel bad for those people. Dude, I paid like $200. I probably put in $200 into this game because I had to pay like 100 or 200 to get into the alpha, like like a year ago. It might not. I think it was only 100 actually. I think it might have only been 100. But yeah, it'd be nice to get that money back. I mean, I'm gonna go to Reddit and see how do we get a refund. Start to say after a year, your chances are extremely low. From their own words, with all that being said, we are aware of the risks and challenges. But they, according to what they said, is they said if the game never launches, right? If the game never launches, you'll get your money back. But it didn't specify in what state it has to launch. So from a legal point of view, because it launched on Steam, they could easily, probably legally, get out of having to pay anybody anything. Because it didn't say launch in finished version. It just said launch, right? So legally, I don't think there's any chance anybody's going to get any money back. Plus, they don't have any money. That's the thing. Is you can't get... it's like what my mom used to say, man. You can't get blood from a turnip, right? You want to go to like old school sayings? You can't get blood from a turnip, man. So... Ms. Olsen, did you see we bought a new truck? We traded in the 2022 Frontier for the 2026 Frontier. I did it because my wife's having such a hard time with everything, with her mom. I thought it would be nice to cheer up. Yeah, I thought it'd be nice to cheer up to upgrade her truck. Anyways, but back to Ashes, it's super... I don't know, I'm so sad, man. I just don't even like it's just these MMOs, man. Like, and here's the thing, when Steven said, when they said it was costing them like $800,000 a month or something, or $800,000 a week. I think they said it was $800,000 a week to run the studio. I mean, that's insane because you're not bringing in any revenue. Like, you're getting so little revenue. I mean, you figure there's 200, Did it really? My mic cut out? Hold on a second. Oh, you know what? I think my Razer's not running. Hold on a second. Let me fix it. Yeah, but I don't think my mic software, I don't think my Razer's running, which usually keeps my mic at a much better volume. Right now my volume's a little low. Let me fix that real quick. Because I just restarted my computer. Because Ashes wouldn't launch. It basically wouldn't launch. So, because it was saying, hey, Alright, there we go. Hopefully the mic's better now. But yeah, Ashes wouldn't launch. It was saying, it does this thing where it says, hey, one of these drivers is not loaded. You need to restart your computer. But I mean, look at this game, dude. Look at this game. Yeah, Razer's... I've been using the same headset. You guys know I've been using the same headset for like 10 years or something. They don't even make it anymore. I buy them off eBay used, just so that I can keep using it because I like it so much. I bought a Razer Black Shark Pro wireless and didn't like it. I thought it wasn't as good as this one. But I mean, look at this game. Like, what MMO has this type of exploration? Where you can, like... I mean, look how big this world is. It's just huge. You're using a Barracuda? Okay. My current... Well, this headset's the Razer Kraken Chroma 7.1 USB headset. That's what it is. So I've been using this thing for the version 1 of it. Which they stopped making like 8 years ago, probably, at least. Maybe longer. But I mean, look at this game. I mean, look at this world. It's so immersive. It's so big. There aren't many MMOs that you can go into where it'll take you like half an hour and move from one... it'll take you half an hour, even with mounts, to try to traverse, maybe even just 60% of the distance, Yeah, the mount taming was super cool. Like I was actually doing that on, I think on this character. Let me take a look. Where's my? I gotta remember how to actually get to my stuff here. Like if you look at my hunting, I was rank 11 hunting, right? And hunting's what you use to get the materials that you use for animal husbandry, right? So I was already at rank 11. Yeah, I mean, you have to that's the thing. This game is so good because you actually have to travel. I mean, you actually have to go to places. There's no fast travel. So the world feels massive because you have to actually walk through it. You've got to go from point A to point B on foot or with a mount. And there's this really cool progression system of how the mounts get better. You go through the, getting some money, buying some better mounts, I mean, dude, look at this. Look at like people said the graphics weren't that great, and yeah, for a game that's coming out now, the graphics aren't like amazing, but look how big the world is. This is my favorite. This is my most important aspect of an MMO for me personally. Like, is that a world is really big, doesn't have fast travel, has a really good way to traverse the land just with some ground mounts. I liked BDO a lot for that. Black Desert was the same way. I mean, there was no fast travel. You just had to get a horse and go right around, which I loved, and you could train your horse and you could breed horses and get faster horses. So there was a way to increase your movement speed by, obviously upgrading your mount. Same thing in this game. There's a way to use animal husbandry to create mounts and get, faster mounts, But my wife's here until tomorrow night. So because she's not home that much because she's taking care of her sick mom, whenever she's here, I spend 100% of my time with her. So she's working right now, and I will be working in about 25 minutes. So this was an opportunity I had to get in to see if the servers were still running, which they are, and just maybe this could be the last time I play this game. And this right now could be the last time I play Ashes of Creation, which makes me very sad, obviously. I mean, look how cool this mount is. He's so cool. This mount is awesome. I mean, they put so much work into this game. The combat was fun. Crafting was fun. It was brutal, crafting, because there were a lot of pieces to it, but it was fun. The music in the game was good. Here, let's listen to the music real quick, because the music in the game was good too. Check this out. The game was cool. It's awesome because it was brutal. Like you try to fight mobs that are like, 1, 2 star elites that are like 2 or 3 levels above you, and they will absolutely annihilate you. They will like beat your ass, right? And I love it when MMOs have that like that danger element, like where you just can't freely walk around the world because you know what I mean, because it's difficult. It's very challenging. Look at this view. I never understood how people could say the graphics in the game are bad. I'm sorry, but this looks pretty amazing to me. I know they're not like super crisp, like they're a little bit pixelated in some aspects. They don't have like the best textures, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to have the best textures. It's really it's like the feel of the world, the ambience, the immersion. That's what makes the world good, not necessarily like the greatest like textures, The day-night cycle is awesome. It's very dark. I love it. I love dark day-night cycles. The mounts were fantastic. Combat's good. The world's fantastic. Music's good. I mean, sure they had a lot of work to do left on the end game, of course. And there were some slight performance issues where the game was a little bit, there was some lag and stuff here and there, but that was, it's not a big deal. Not all that stuff can be worked out over time, It wasn't anything that prevented you from playing the game or enjoying the game. But here we are in Ashes of Creation, and I didn't even know the servers were going to be running today. I thought maybe they were already dead. Everybody got laid off. Everybody was fired. The company's no more, and here we are playing Ashes of Creation even though the company's gone, which is just weird, to be honest. I said it in the stream already, but I'm just so sad for the developers and for Stephen Sharif. Sad for him. I didn't like Stephen initially. I thought because of his background, because of all kind of stuff about his background. But you can't judge someone you don't know. We don't know. I don't know Stephen Sharif personally, so you can't just be like, oh, well, just because people said he did multi-level marketing, he's a bad person. Everything I've seen about Stephen, like everything I've seen in his live streams and every interaction with him, even like when he gets mad on Discord and bans people, I mean, he's usually. To be honest, if I was him, I probably would have done the same thing. People are being a jerk. You own the game. You're the game basically. And people are talking trash to you and being rude. Why not, man? I might probably do the same thing, man. You guys know me long enough to know that I won't put up with crap. People give me crap, I'll just be like, see ya. People come into my stream and are douchebags. I just, see ya. I just mute them or whatever, But everything I've seen about Stephen Sharif, like as far as his interactions in live streams and developer updates and stuff, he's always seemed like a really nice person, like a really cool guy. To be honest, I'd love to know the guy in real life. I think he'd be a really nice person to know. So really sad for him. I sent him a private message. I'm sure who knows if he reads his private messages. He probably does. He seems like the kind of person who does, because he was always very vocal at responding to not only Discord, but he was also very vocal at responding to streamers who did videos about Ashes of Creation. If you were like a fairly big streamer, which I'm not, but if you were, and you did a video on Ashes of Creation, like someone like Lazy Peon, or just anybody who was pretty big, who had a pretty big following, he usually watched those videos, and a lot of times, very often, he responded. So I would not be surprised if he didn't read my message, just because he's the kind of person who seems like he's involved. He likes to be involved. If someone's talking to him, he likes to see what they say. He's interested. He's a curious individual, just like I am. So I sent him a private message where I thanked him for trying to do something good for the MMO genre. Because let's face it, Ashes of Creation was one of the big bright stars in the night sky that is the bleakness. I kind of likened it to Game of Thrones, where I said we're kind of in winter's coming, right? It feels like the MMO genre is like Game of Thrones, and like winter's coming, and all the MMOs are dying because they can't live in the winter. You know what I mean? And that's what it feels like. But then you also have to remember that the North remembers. The North remembers, my friend. And the summer will again return. We just don't know how long it's going to be. I firmly believe that there will be an MMO resurgence at some point. I just don't think it's going to come from, I just don't know how or when. It won't come until development costs go down. And development costs will eventually go down because AI is going to be so good that it's really going to help companies create these games because they're not going to have as many people to do the mundane tasks. Or if you get game engines that are a lot better. What if you have a game engine that's built around AI? What if you have a game engine that has all these AI agents in it that basically help you do the tasks you need to do? What if I'm looking at this world here and I say I want to create a road? Like I can go into the AI and say, hey, just generate me a big, huge terrain. Because when you think about an MMO, it's really like the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to create the world, right? And you're going to want to go and you want to create the geography. And before we had the big game engines that we have now, there used to be stuff like World Machine, which I think still exists. But there were things out there that were specifically used to make terrain, right? Terrain generation software, something like World Machine. Now, what World Machine does is it generates terrain. And then, of course, you export it to Unity, Unreal Engine 5. So the purpose is it helps you generate this terrain that you can then pull into a game engine and then populate the terrain with your world. What I'm trying to say is that eventually you won't be doing this. You won't like sculpt and, you'll have AI tools where you say, hey, you'll be giving the AI tools the parameters for what you need. Okay, I need the map to be this big. I want there to be, maybe you'll map the borders of the landmass. You'll say, well, here's the landmass like this. And I need like in this, and then you'll take a paintbrush. You'll say in this area, you'll take your paintbrush, and you'll just kind of paint through here. And you say in this area, I want a mountain range. And through this mountain range, you'll put a couple places where you say, I want some openings in the mountain range where there's going to be players will be able to get through. And over here, you'll paint like I want some sort of a lake. Here I want like a river, and you'll just paint it all on, like with a paintbrush. And then the AI will just generate it. And then you'll go in and tweak it and say, okay, these mountains, like I want this to be a little taller, this a little shorter. I want this lake to be a little bit bigger. I want you to randomize the edges of the lake a little bit more, or I want the lake to be longer than it is. I want it to be more rectangular shape, or I want it to be more oval, or I want it to be octagonal. I mean, eventually we're going to have the AI tools that do all this. So game development eventually for MMOs will be to the point where it's not going to be as expensive because you won't need as many people. Like right now, you might need like a team of 20 people to create all the world, to create all the assets. It may get down to the point where you only need one person. One person with all the AI tools can do it all. So eventually we will get to the point where MMOs will come back because the cost of making them is going to go down. I firmly believe that. Now, how long is it going to take before we get to that point? I don't know. I think it's going to be like 15, 20 years. It could be faster because things move quick in technology, as we all know. But again, I mean, look at this game, right? I mean, you just can't. This is a beautiful world that they crafted in Ashes of Creation, and it's just so sad that it's going to be gone. And it makes me, I played it a lot. I played Ashes of Creation a lot over the past like 3 months, and I stopped in the past couple weeks. I stopped because I was trying out some of the World of Warcraft TBC, and actually I was trying out World of Warcraft Midnight Pre-Patch, which I like doing PvP and all the new WoW expansions, the retail ones, because the combat in PvP and the retail is quite fun. It's very fast paced. There's a lot of stuff to do, especially the classes I like to play. I try to play the classes that have a lot of button presses just to make it like kind of hectic and fun. So I was taking a break from Ashes, and I was really taking a break and just waiting for them to kind of, patch some of the problems and do updates and stuff like that. Fully expecting that I would be coming back to Ashes, playing it probably within the next 6 months. That was kind of my goal. It's like, I'll be back in the next 3 to 6 months playing the game, and now this happened. So it's just I'm super bummed, like super bummed. And again, what I said to Steven, I sent him a private message. Again, he probably, who knows if he ever reads it, but I basically thanked him for trying to build a good MMO that gave the genre some hope. Because like I said, Ashes was one of the stars in the night sky that was giving us something to look forward to, something to direct us that we could follow. We're going down a good path, hopefully, because most of the MMOs are Eastern-based MMOs, and they're all pay to win. They're all pay to win because the only way these people think they can make money is to put in all the pay to win stuff, which, I disagree with that. I don't think it has to be pay to win. I mean, I think you can totally make games. You can make tons of money off these games just doing cosmetics. Cosmetics to me are the easiest way to make money on an MMO. It's just building a really, really good cosmetic system with dyes, with with just ways to get lots of different types of really cool, skins for your characters. Put mounts in the game. Like in this game, would have been easy for cosmetics to make money because you have ships and you have mounts, so you'd be able to buy like armor for your mounts. You'd be able to buy like upgrades to your ships. Make all that stuff like. Make most of it cosmetic. Try not to make it too pay to win. Black Desert did a pretty good job of adding a few pay to win elements, but they were so subtle. that I don't think anybody really cared. So Black Desert did some jewelry. Like you could buy like a necklace, and the necklace meant that maybe you'd get a slight XP increase, but it wasn't that much. And you could buy pets in Black Desert Online that would loot for you, which was amazing because in Black Desert Online, one of the ways you're leveling is you're just killing a lot of mobs at once. So there's lots of loot that has to be picked up. So it's very tedious if you're sitting here killing mobs over and over again for hours and hours, which is what you do in BDO. To have to constantly like stop to loot everything is very tedious. And so putting mounts in the cash shop that you could just purchase a cool hawk or cool wolf or something that just runs out there and picks up all your loot for you, it's a no-brainer. I mean, everybody's going to buy that because it's really useful. It's got a purpose that's incredibly useful to you as a player. So you don't mind paying, 10, 15, 20 bucks for something like that because it's a one-time purchase. So that, and there's other MMOs that have done, even like in the private sector, one of the most heavily monetized private MMOs was I cannot think of the name of the game, but it's that big vanilla server. They have all kinds of different servers, but they do a great job of monetizing their game in a way that they make a ton of money. And how they do it is they do stuff like cosmetics, of course, but they do other stuff. They do like, bankers that you can have with you. They give you like a mule that you have access to your mule at anywhere in the world, which means you have access to your bank. They, repair bot that you have access to anywhere in the world. Even like an auctioneer, you have access to anyone else. So everybody buys these things because the only bad thing is it means that nobody goes to the cities as much. But there's ways you don't have to go to that extent. But I think making money in an MMO with cosmetics and a few other small, like nice to haves isn't that difficult, So I don't think games have to be pay to win to make money at all. Even like World of Warcraft is, they're monetizing I believe they are monetizing their housing system, but that's another way. Build a housing system into your game, and again, just put stuff in the store. Put really cool, like high-end assets that you can buy, like a really super cool, like assets that even have like maybe some animation built into them. Put a bed in it that, like, when you interact with it, you can pull the covers back or something. You can easily do that and make a ton of money off of it. So you don't have to make pay to win, but anyways, I don't know when the asset creation servers are going to go down. I really don't. And like I said, I wish I could stay in the server from now until they do go. And I will. I'm not going to log out. I'm going to keep my character here in the game, just to see, like, when I get kicked out. But everybody's been let go. The company's no more. It's gone. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. I have to work in like 11 minutes, so I'll try to stay on here for another 11 minutes. But yeah, just very sad. The game had so much promise. It really did. Had a lot of promise. I wanted to kind of go down to one of the bigger cities in the south because I wanted to see how many people are still left in the game. And I can't believe there's people fishing. There's people actually fishing, even though the company doesn't exist anymore. I'm not really sure what they're trying to accomplish. Like, here's another person fishing. I wonder if these are like bots or something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. Since it was Kickstarter, the game should be open sourced. Oh, yeah, I was hoping. Hey, Andrew, that's the one thing that I was really curious. I would love to see somebody pick this up. I don't know. Since it was Kickstarter, the game should be open sourced. In your opinion. I mean, here's the thing. According to Kira TV, somebody came in and wanted, of course, Steven says board of directors. People said there was no board of directors, but according to Kira TV, there was a board of directors. And I don't think he would say that if it wasn't true. Again, Kira TV is not my favorite person, but I don't think he would make stuff up. So I do think there was somebody behind the game, maybe some investors. I mean, there probably was somebody, because I find it hard to believe that Steven could have paid all these developers, 200 and some developers, for the past 3-4 years, when he said it was costing like $800,000 a week or a month or whatever it was. It was a ton of money to pay these people. I mean, he would have gone through let's say if it was 100, if it was like $800,000 a week, I mean, you're talking like, what is that, like a couple million? Was it 1.6 million, 3.2 million a month? Even if it was like $800,000 biweekly, you're looking at 1.6 million a month. And then on top of that, you've got, obviously all the employee benefits that they have also cost money as well. So you're talking millions of dollars a month, millions of dollars a year. I mean, how many years could you, let's say it's like 2 million a month, that's $24 million a year. Times 8, you're looking at 30, 60. That's already approaching like $170 million over an 8-year span. I mean, that's just so much money for one person to have to try to fund by themselves. I don't know how much money Steven had. He must have had a lot. But the word was supposedly that whoever was on the board of directors, which apparently there was a board of directors, was pushing to make changes that Steven didn't agree with, so he basically stepped down. And of course, once that happened, these people also, according to Kira TV, these people were trying to basically lay off everybody, like lay off like 60 or 70% of the workforce, and then take what was left, probably the key people that really knew the engineering aspects of the game, like how the game functions and how to code for it, and take those people, and then they were going to take the game overseas to somebody else to pick it up and finish it out and release it. Probably I would just say that's probably a cash grab, right? Probably do like a cash grab with it, which would work. I mean, honestly, it would, because people would play it, right? Who wouldn't? I mean, there just isn't a lot of options out there for new MMOs. So you would basically monetize it. You'd maybe put in some like pay to win aspects, and you'd quickly finish it up and release it. But what happened was, once Steven stepped down, a lot of the core people that were probably these people they didn't want to let go quit, because they're faithful to Steven, would be my guess, and they quit. And the people who wanted to buy the company and do this kind of like lay off, 67%, and then take the game overseas and finish it, they realized that they just didn't have enough of the core people, so they didn't have the talent. They lost the talent. And once they realized they lost talent, they just shut it down. And they put out the WARN Act letter, and they basically laid off or fired, or however you want to say it. I guess it's not. Is it a lay? I guess it's a layoff. When a company shuts down, I guess you are laid off. It's not really. You're not really fired. You're really just laid off, I think. But everybody's gone. As of today, everybody's just gone. The company doesn't even exist anymore. Intrepid Studios is no more. But having said that, if they did buy it out, Andrew, if this company, according to Kira TV, if they did already buy out Intrepid Studios, they then would own the rights to the game, right? They would own the rights to the code. Now, there still is the underhanded, sneaky way that games get released into private servers, and the way that happens is that the code gets leaked. So if somebody has all the source code, right, and usually somebody does, it's very difficult to prevent an employee from getting a hold of the source code, right? They might have had it already at home. Maybe they've got some servers running at home they use for development. It's not like these people are going to fire them and run down to, who is this? He's probably going to give me something. What's he want? Naked top tomb. Oh, he's giving me 10 gold. Thank you. Rest in peace, Ashton. Yeah, for real. He just gave me 10 gold. Of course, money doesn't really matter at this point. So what I'm saying is, our best chance that we'll see this game on a private server is that some employee of Ashes of Creation of Intrepid Studios has the code, and that they will just kind of let that code somehow magically get leaked to somebody, right? And that's what we all hope. That would be the best scenario, because if the code gets leaked, what's he say? Making my boat. If you want to come kill level 30 mobs that drop good shit. Then probably give up and see what the crew is playing. Yeah. Pantheon is... Yeah, Pantheon's a pretty cool... I might try Pantheon. I might try Pantheon again. It's a pretty fun game. Yeah, let's go to global. People are talking about what they're going to play. Ragnarok. No, I'm not going to play Ragnarok. Yeah, I forgot about Pantheon. Pantheon's actually a pretty fun game, so yeah, it's rough. Try ArcAge Online. ArcAge Online? Well, there's the private server, ArcRage. Project Gorgon got released, but it's a little bit too old school for me. Like the graphics, I'm so used to like more action-based graphics, like this, you know. It's ArcAge class. I've played ArcRage. It's like not private, but if it. Oh, really? It's called ArcAge Classic. I'm not really familiar with that one. I wasn't really a big fan of ArcAge. It was okay, you know. I think I remember this, but didn't this turn out bad, Majestic? But didn't this turn out bad? Didn't this like go pay to win or something? I'll do some research on it. I'll do some research on it. Project Gorgon. Well, the things I was thinking about playing was Enshrouded. You know, my friend's been playing Enshrouded. He likes it. I've been thinking about playing some Enshrouded. I also have been playing some, you know, War Within pre-patch. Well, there's ArcRage, right? Which is the private server, but not this one. Your mate said go here. Your mate said here go to the ArcAge Classic? I bet you I have an account in this already. Let me take a look. I bet you I have, because I play pretty much every MMO that comes out. I try to, right? Oh no, I don't. No, I don't think I do have an account on this one, which is surprising, but yeah, I'll try it out. I'll try it out. But as far as he said, it's not pay to win, but I didn't. Okay, I'll definitely do some research on it. I'll definitely do some research on it. You think it's newish, maybe 12 months? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. So the options of games that we have to play, obviously we've got World of Warcraft TBC Classic. I'm probably not going to play that too much, even though I did put money in it to play. We've also got pre-patch War Within, but I don't really like World of Warcraft retail that much. I only do it for PvP purposes. We've got Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, which is the combat in that game is very slow paced and not very action based at all, which is a little bit disappointing. But the game's pretty fun. I like the climbing mechanics. The climbing mechanics in Pantheon are really good, actually. I really enjoy climbing up the cliffs and stuff in Ashes. Sorry, in Pantheon. I enjoyed it in Ashes too. Climbing in Ashes was fun. But also, like I said, Enshrouded. So most likely, I haven't been streaming much at all the past few months because my wife's mom had a stroke, and so she's been taking care of her mom pretty much full time. So it's been rough times for me and for my wife. So that's why I have been pretty absent from streaming and really being on my YouTube channel. But eventually I'll be back playing a lot more. But we did about 100,000. Quit, no content. Yeah, I thought Pantheon was pretty fun. I liked that it definitely had like an old school feel to it, and I definitely liked the day night. It was really dark. You know what I mean? It got really dark at night, which I like a lot. So, but we're saying goodbye to Ashes of Creation, guys, and I think I am gonna log. I think I do have to go because I have to go to work, but definitely Ashes is dead in the water. Another MMO disappears. And it's too bad. I wish Steven Shreve would respond to my message. I'd love to get his. Of course, he can't really say much, and Steven's not going to be too. Yeah. No, Ashes was good. You're wrong. You're wrong, Ripoff. Ashes had a lot of stuff that was fun. So it had a lot of stuff that was fun. Monsters and Memories is a little too old school. I've played the beta. I've actually played the beta of Monsters and Memories, and it was just a little too. The graphics were a little too old for me. It was too like lo-fi. You know, just wasn't. I can't take the. Yeah, Ashes of Creation was really good. Ripoff. Actually, I really enjoyed Ashes of Creation, so I had a lot of fun in Ashes. And there definitely was a lot to be done with it. There was a lot more work I like the spears they got in the building here. I like how they did the front of this building with these spears. That's cool. They definitely had a lot to do with the end game. You know, there was a lot of stuff that needed to be fleshed out for the end game, of course, and there were a lot of stuff that needed to be addressed and fixed, but the game had massive, massive potential. So, I mean, there's obviously a big fan base of players that played it that really liked it, so Yeah, there's nothing that's this big open world. I mean, the Ashes world was probably the biggest MMO of the world, and it had just this beautiful like immersion. Like traversing the world was took time, and the mount system was really cool. And being able to have like water mounts, aquatic mounts that swim through the water, and yeah, yeah. The only reason Ashes was dropping in player based numbers was just simply because they didn't really have it was only to level 25. And remember, the release version of the game was supposed to be, I think, level 50. So Ashes only had a level cap of 25. So people got to level 25, and there really wasn't a whole lot to do outside of just crafting and gathering and, making money. There really wasn't, you were kind of limited because that was the cap. But of course, there was, the shipbuilding. There was the shipbuilding, the fishing. There's even ship battles that you could do. And there's obviously, but there was a lot of things that need to be fixed with the PvP. So there were a lot of issues, but you fix those issues and you've got a really good game. So there definitely the potential was here, and there wasn't any game like this. There's no game that you go into that feels like Ashes. I don't think. I mean, the only thing that even comes close to me is Black Desert Online, because Black Desert Online had a pretty big world. You had a lot of grinding mechanics where you would grind for level, kind of like Ashes, and it had like a very pretty involved like shipbuilding and farming and crafting and gathering system, right? Similar to Ashes, even more involved than Ashes, to be honest, because you could hire workers, you could house your workers in houses inside capital cities. You could tell those workers to go out and cut down trees for you, and all that stuff could be done while you weren't even playing the game. I mean, you could say, I want you to go and cut down these trees in this location at this node, and they would go cut those trees down and bring the wood back to your bank, and they'd be doing that until they ran out of energy, and that could be done while you're not even playing the game when you're offline. So BDO has a really good crafting system. So I out of all the games I played, I would say BDO Ashes reminded me the most of Black Desert Online. And maybe a little bit of ArcAge too. You throw some ArcAge in there, but anyways, guys, I do have to go. I got to go to work, but we'll see. We'll find something else to play. Obviously, there's plenty of other games we can play. I may jump back into Pantheon Rise of the Fallen a bit just to see what they've updated into the game. I know my friend Blue was playing some Star Citizen. So at some point, I've been waiting for Star Citizen just to get more stable, because I do like Star Citizen a lot. If Star Citizen could ever get really, really stable, and all the systems were stable, and there weren't the bugs, like the game-breaking bugs, I would totally play that game, because Star Citizen is really fun. It's really fun. It's a really fun game. The problem is there's just too many, like bugs. Like, you'll, like, spend, like, an hour, like, mining, get on your ship, take off, and your ship explodes for no reason, basically. And you're just like, okay, I just spent an hour mining. I believe most of those, I think that's pretty rare nowadays, but there are a lot of bugs in that game. But we'll see. I do enjoy Star Citizen a lot when I do play it. It's a fun game. There's no game like Star Citizen either. People like to say, well, there are other space games, but like No Man's Sky and stuff, but they really don't compare. I mean, Star Citizen's really its own thing, all on its own. But hopefully, again, like I said, hopefully the AI tools will come along to the point where we can kind of take out a lot of the need for so many developers on an MMO, because Ashes had like 250 people on the team, and if we could get to the point where a lot of those tasks can be done by AI, just with the assistance of a few developers, then we might be able to start see really good MMOs come out in the West again. And again, I don't know when that'll happen, but I do believe it will happen at some point. So, but anyways, rest in peace, Ashes of Creation, and for the people that got laid off and fired and all that, whatever, hopefully they all find jobs soon. I hate to see anybody lose their job. I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll catch you next time.